Once, not so long ago and not so far away, there was a land divided in two. On one side lived the humans, and on the other lived the trolls. Between them ran a thin border, not a wall and not a fence, but a line made of fear. Each side feared the other. Humans told stories of terrifying trolls who ate children and boiled them for breakfast. Creatures with pink, cake-like skin, wild, tangled hair, and eyes so frightening they even scared their own mothers. And the trolls in turn spoke of humans, smooth-skinned, sharp-toothed beasts so dangerous that if a troll came too close, it would turn to dust and blow away on the wind. Near the border, far from both city and town, lived two isolated families. One was a family of trolls and the other a family of humans. They were so far removed that no one bothered to tell their children the truly frightening stories. In the troll family lived a young troll named Pelly, whose pink skin sparkled faintly in the sunlight and whose hair stuck up in 7 different directions no matter how much his mother tried to smooth it down. In the human family lived a boy named Eli, who had scraped knees and a laugh that echoed across the meadow. One day, the two were playing with a ball, each on their own side of the border. Pelly had a blue ball with golden stripes, which sparkled in the dark, made from resin mixed with old leather scraps. And Eli had a black and white ball, stitched together by many generations of women, as old as the universe itself. With one careless kick, each ball rolled across the border to the other side. Each of them went searching for their ball, and suddenly, Eli found a blue ball with golden stripes, smooth and heavy and cool to the touch. And Pelly found a black and white ball, soft and light and strange. They both picked up the ball, looked at it, and called out together, "This isn't my ball." Then they noticed each other for the first time. Pelly saw not a sharp-toothed beast, but a boy with curious eyes. Eli saw not a monster, but someone his own age with a confused expression. No shouting, no running away, only curiosity. Each of them kicked the ball back across the border. At first, each played alone, but before they realized it, they began to play together from both sides of the line. Eli would kick, Pelly would catch, Pelly would throw, Eli would dodge. They laughed when the ball went wild. They cheered when it flew straight. And then they tried to talk. Pelly's voice rumbled like stones rolling downhill. Eli's voice was softer, like a feather lifting the air. At first, they couldn't understand the words, but they understood the tone. Laughter sounds the same in any language. And so, day after day, they met. They played, laughed, and slowly began to learn each other's words. They discovered that the frightening creature from the stories looked quite ordinary and even friendly. They decided to invite each other home. Eli came to visit Pelly first, but the trolls, whose sense of smell was especially sharp, caught the scent of humans from afar, a sharp, warm smell like burning wood, and fled their home in fear, leaving their stone chairs empty and their stew bubbling over the fire. When Pelly opened the door, the house was silent. "Maybe," Eli said quietly, looking at the beautifully carved walls and the still glowing fireplace, "you should come to my house instead." On the way to Eli's home, humans spotted a troll from a distance, a pink figure moving through the trees, and sounded the alarm. Families bolted their doors, shutters slammed closed. And so when Eli opened the door to his house, it too was empty. Only the smell of bread baking and the creak of an empty rocking chair remained. That evening, when the families returned home, the children asked, "Why weren't you there?" Then the parents told their stories. The trolls explained to Pelly about the dangerous humans who steal troll children and turn them to dust. And the humans explained to Eli about the terrifying trolls who devour anyone who comes near. Eli and Pelly looked at each other in surprise. They had been playing together for weeks already, and nothing bad had happened. In fact, something good had happened. But fear was strong. The parents forbade them to meet again. Days passed, and the longing grew. Until one day, without telling anyone, the two slipped back to the border to play once more. When they saw each other, they grinned, and they played harder than ever, as if making up for lost time. The parents noticed their absence, and suspicion led them to the border. Pelly's mother arrived first from one direction. Eli's father arrived first from the other. Each saw the enemy. Each froze. Each prepared to shout, to run, to protect their child. But then they saw something very strange. Their children, laughing, playing, safe. Pelly's mother watched as Eli carefully handed the ball back to her son. Eli's father watched as Peli showed Eli how to balance the cloth ball on his head. There was nothing to fear. Slowly, trembling, Peli's mother took one step closer. Eli's father did the same. And then Peli's father arrived, and Eli's mother and Peli's little sister and Eli's grandmother. They stood on opposite sides of that invisible line, watching. Hello, Eli's father finally said, his voice uncertain. Hello, Peli's mother rumbled back. And then Peli's little sister giggled and ran across the border to chase the ball, and no one turned to dust. No one vanished. Slowly, the families drew closer. And then they began to play. Peli's father taught Eli's father the forehead bounce game. Eli's grandmother taught Peli's mother a skipping song. The children ran in circles, shrieking with joy. Trolls and humans together. The noise was great, and the laughter rolled across the land. The sounds and the scents reached the towns and the cities, and trolls and humans alike came to the border to see and found both families playing together. The fear that had paralyzed the land for many long years began to fade, and gradually the border disappeared. In its place, they built a garden where both troll flowers and human flowers grew. They built a market where stone carvers traded with cloth weavers. They built a school where all the children learned together. And from that day on, humans and trolls were no longer enemies, but the best of friends. And it all began with two children and two balls that were not theirs.